Hello guys, welcome back to the Beastie room. Well, the new Beastie room. This video is episode 14. I can't believe we've done 14 videos on this build so far. So what we've done in this particular video is we had an empty room and we have built the desk and we've started putting up our racking and bits and pieces, and it's now starting to take a bit of shape. It's really starting to look more like a room. Hopefully we set these lights out in here so that we could hopefully have a better lighted area here so we can showcase our spiders and bits and pieces a bit more. We got our bench frame in, but we still got plenty to do. So without further ado, let's go and have a look, see how we got on, see how we put the framework up. We'll explain as we go what we're doing, and yeah, for any of you out there that are thinking of doing something similar in your rooms, you know, hopefully this video will help you. Yeah, so let's go and have a look, and we'll be back in a moment. We'll have a little chat. Grand job. See you soon. Well, welcome back to episode 14. 14, can you believe it? In this build project. Now today we are looking at making the bench. Going to get that sorted out, and then we need to start racking the room out. Now this is a really nice time in the build because we have a completely empty room. And we can move around easily, do everything we need to do. Now, as you can see there's the sockets up on the wall there, and you would have remembered from previous videos that this is where we planned on putting the bench. So those sockets will in effect be underneath the bench. You can see there's a silver one there, that's for the data cable to come in, so that we have internet direct into the room. So we shouldn't have any problems with it falling out at different times. Now, we're going to make this bench a little bit different to how I would normally do this sort of structure. Now, normally I would make the frame up like we're doing now, and then I would make another one exactly the same, and then we would put the legs within. But I always, when I had my last bench, I could never get my stool underneath the bench because of obviously there was a beam in the way. So what we're doing this time is we are going to make this more as a set piece. So this bench won't be moved around, it will stay there forever now. So we're going to make it so it's a fixed thing, so that there will be no framework on the floor at the back of it. So in effect, it will only have two sides. So that means we have to make it in more of a piece by piece sort of structure. So we've now put the, we're looking at putting the piece in on the back, so that we've got an upright to actually go across, because obviously we still need to be able to fix our fascia and our top onto it, so it still needs a frame to be able to be attached. We're putting the end piece in now. As you can see, this isn't a particularly difficult thing to achieve, and most people with you know, basic DIY skills can build this sort of thing really easily. I know a lot of people tend to worry and they're like, oh, I can't do that, I can't do that. But you know, I'm self-taught in everything I do, and it's just been through trial and error over the years, and you get a little bit better. And I'm sure there's probably chippies out there that think, blimey, he's making hard work of that. But you know, we know enough to be able to get by, and we're getting done. You know, and the end product is the same. So just take a little bit of care, and you can make a nice effort yourself, and save yourself an absolute fortune. As we said in the beginning of this project, this is the first time I've ever been able to have qualified people, as it were, come in and do this build for me. I've always done these things myself, purely because of like a financial reason. It's an expensive project, so the more you can do yourself, the more you can save, and making it all a little bit easier, a little bit better all round. So as you can see there now, we've basically got a piece of wood on the back wall, which is where we're secured to. Now that will give our bench structure and make it solid, so that our bench don't go anywhere, because that is actually screwed into the joists of the wall. So it's not going anywhere at all. So that is more than enough. And we're not looking at putting major weight on this structure at all. So we're just making sure now that everything is level and good. And we're now fixing it to the floor. You see that? We've screwed that direct to the floor, so it can't go anywhere. And you'll also see now what we were talking about. There is no beam in the back, which means we can get our feet right the way under. We can get our desk and our stool right the way underneath the table, which will be so much better. Now we've also got some foam, some industrial foam, which a lot of places use, like restaurants and things like that. They use it on the floor in front of sinks and things like that, where people spend a lot of time standing on hard surfaces. And we're going to put some of that on the floor as well, because I suffer terribly with my feet. My feet are constantly throbbing. So we're hoping that's going to help out a little bit there as well. So it's all little tiny things that will hopefully make life a little bit easier. Now we're putting the first upright in now for our racking. And this is often a little bit of trial and error. And I've gone for shorter racks, hoping that my measurements were correct, and hoping that I will get the shelves that I need in there. So what we're doing now is we are literally setting the very, very first one out. Now you'd have remembered in previous videos, I would normally put a straight line along the bottom, and I would normally put a couple of racks, like the racking uprights there. I would normally lay them on the bottom, level them out, screw them to the wall, and then I would then come off of those with all of my uprights, and that makes them all perfectly level. I didn't want to do that this time because I didn't want screw holes in the wall, because you take them off afterwards and that would leave holes in the wall. So I didn't want to do that this time. So I thought what we'd do, we would level them in one by one, which takes a little bit longer. You know, it does take a little bit longer, but it means that I don't end up with holes all over the walls, which is something I was really, really desperate. This is a brand new room, and as you can appreciate, it's all looking absolutely beautiful at the moment, and I would really like to try and keep it that way as best we possibly can. So we're going to level them up one by one. Now we are following the joists. If you go back in the videos, and you will see that the walls were made of a framework, and so we put joists, I think it was every 600 maybe apart, and as you can see they are over 600. So what I've done there is I've gone every second joist at the moment, and then we will put the internal ones in afterwards. So yeah, they put them at every 600, and the reason we done this was, one, because I'm conscious of the weight of the tanks that we're going to use, and these uprights are being screwed straight into 4-inch joists, and I'm hoping that we can get, that will be enough strength to hold all of these tanks, and it should be easily. We're using 100mm screws in the actual uprights, and we are using every single screw hole in that upright. You know, I think it's like something like every 4 slots there's a screw hole, and we are using every single one with a 100mm screw. So these guys are absolutely securely fixed to the wall. They are not coming off. The wall would have to give way before one of them did, I'm sure. So as you can see now, this is our 600 bearers, you see, and we're actually filling in the gaps so we can get them all in. Now this does take a little bit of time, and we have to make sure that we level everybody up every time, and we can slowly but surely get them all in place. Now one thing to remember is when you're doing this sort of racking, you do get through quite a lot of screws. I think there was probably something like 7 or 8 screws per bracket all the way through. So we're just checking our heights there now. We're making sure everybody's level, everything's good. I say it's well worth just taking your time, making sure everything is perfect, getting them all in place. Everybody's looking really cool. There you go. So that's that side, and we're in there now. So this is the back wall, and that's just about done. So now what we've got to do, we just got to clear the area now. This is all our air conditioning unit, heat and everything else. All our bits and pieces. Now we stored all of the timber. Now this timber that you're seeing in here now, this timber is going to be used in our other shed to build our roach shed. So we're going to have our roaches and our live food in a separate shed so that we don't keep them in this room, because one of the things we've suffered with is flies. You know, you get them pesky bloody flies, and they are an absolute nightmare. So we're having them in a separate room. Now then, you would have remembered back in the old videos about me having a little bit of a whine about the fuse box being a little bit high, and this will all become apparent now, and you will see now why. The box that I'm kicking around on the floor, I bought these storage boxes to fit underneath this particular set of shelves, and we will use these storage boxes for literally storing stuff, whether it be substrate or bark or whatever we choose, you know. So the idea being that we don't have loose stuff kicking around the room. So should we ever get an escape or anything like that, we don't have to move, you know, oodles of stuff to be able to get at anything. We should be able to keep it nice and simple. Now then, we've got our first bracket in there by the plug sockets, as you can see. Now we can't go no further than that bracket because of the plug sockets. So we're now going to get our next one in. And what we're doing now is we are just getting our upright lines. So again, we're following the joists in the wall. And what we done, Tucker marked on the wall where every joist, well, he marked on the floor originally where every joist was. And then when we finally put, we got the walls painted, got the skirting board in and everything else, we then marked on the bottom of the wall the centre of every joist. And then we carpeted the room to cover up everything that we'd done before. So we know exactly where these joists are, so we don't mess about. We don't end up with holes where they shouldn't be and things like that. So everything has been planned from the very beginning right to the very end. So there you go. We're just getting them ones in now. Now, as you can see there, one of the reasons we chose to have the storage bins over on this end of the room was purely because of that damn bleeding fuse box. You can see there now that fuse box is probably, I don't know, 4 or 6 inches higher than the storage box, which means that our first shelf has to go along the top of the storage box. This is why I wanted it lower. But, as was typical, the electricians didn't really listen very much, and yeah, put it where they thought it would be alright. So, yeah, slightly annoying, and yeah, this is why it's important that, you know, when you leave instructions, they are followed. because you leave them for a reason. And yeah, this is what happens when people don't listen. Absolute pain. So we've lost 4 to 6 inches of height in that thing. Now that might not sound very much to the average person. You sit there and think, well, you know, it's 4 or 6 inches, not that big deal. It's a massive shed. Yeah, well, it is a big deal because that is the difference between another shelf, you know. So make sure that you get things where you want them. I am still very sore, as you can probably hear in my voice. I am still a little bit miffed about this damn box being up where it is. You know, I just needed it down on the floor. Yeah, simple thing. But yeah, so now we go. Right, so we got our first board in. Look at that, first board. Now, you'll see these boards are pretty heavy duty. They are 2 inches thick and 9.5 inches wide. As you can see there, we've doubled them up. So we've now got 19 inches wide shelf. That is a very wide shelf. Now the reason we've done this is because I want to go for deeper tanks. I would like to have deeper tanks where I can. Now we're having some issues with the actual sorting out of some tanks that we'd like to get made, and so we will start with using the existing tanks that we had, but going forward we want to move over and have deeper tanks. Now that wall that has the box underneath it, the one at the back there, the one we just gone away from, that is going to be the tank where the wall where we put our frogs and bits and pieces. Now as you can see now, we are now going to fix in all of the screw holes to fill in where we are. So this will make sure that all of these brackets are absolutely secure. As you can see, there's a good few there. And we're doing every single hole. And remember, they are 100mm screws. So, you know, that's a 4-inch screw going in there. These guys are not going anywhere. Right, there we go. Let's make sure the last ones are in. Now one of the things that we started to do now, the weather started turning, and it started to rain. I didn't really want my boards. My boards had been out for a couple of days already out in the elements, so they were a little bit damp. So the idea was to start to bring these boards in. Oh, here we go. The boss has turned up. She always turns up right near the end, and yeah, here she goes. We are now going to bring these boards in, and we're going to rack them out on this wall. This is not where they are going to stay. So we are literally just going to get them in so that we can keep them out of the rain and we can get them dried out a little bit. That's the idea. So they can come in here and they can air a little bit. Now the timber, when you buy it, is damp already, so it needs to be dried out anyway. And we will get a little bit of bowing and bits and pieces, but once the tanks go on them, they will flatten out and dry out perfectly well. We need to paint them yet as well, so there's still lots and lots to do. So these are the shorter walls. Now this is the long wall. This wall is what is it? It's nearly 15 foot long, this wall. So we've got our brackets to go in here. Just standing them out, and we've actually collared camera lady there now to give me a hand so we can speed things up, because the weather's turned and it's getting a bit naughty out there, and also, you know, I'm a bit of an old boy nowadays, and I'm starting to suffer a little bit and I tend to ache and what have you after a full day down here. And luckily we've got camera lady here. She's holding the wall up there, as you can see. I did say to her, you just need to hold the bracket. She's like, yeah, I am. I'm like, it looked like you're holding the wall up. You'll see in a minute. There you go, look, she's holding that wall up again. Oh, what would we do without her, eh? All joking aside, she makes my life a lot easier. She's always willing to help, and as you can see, them beams, the wood, are not light, and she's always there to help out. We do make a good team. There you go, she's holding that one up. See, she's doing an amazing job. Now she's checking the levels out for herself now. She's always keen to learn. But this is about as far as we got today, and we will finish off and start getting the rest of them cut and in place very soon. Well then, what did you think? It's only a short video, and it's not complete because we've not finished the works. Now, as you saw, we built this table. Now, I was trying to explain in the video about not having a beam along the floor down the bottom here. And this is because when we're standing here, you know, it's nice to get up close to the table. And also, when my stool is in here, I can actually put it underneath. Before, when we had the beam running along the bottom, because I built my table differently, it meant that we were always this far back from it all the time, and I was forever like stubbing my toes. So that was like a little thing that stuck in my mind from the old room. So it was something I definitely wanted to make different here. We've also changed the height of this. We've made this a little bit lower, I think it is, than the last one. We've still got to put the board on top, and then we've got to put our rim around it so that we can stop any escapees. We're trying to do things in a way so that if we should end up with a spider that does a runner and escapes into the room, it's going to be so easy for us to try and get it. I don't want to have any clutter in this room if I can help it. So everything will be boxed and neat and tidy. And we've done the same with the racking. Now, you would have seen in the video, we started to put the racking up. We have made a bit of a mistake, or I have made a bit of a mistake. These beams here, I went for the shorter one because I thought I would have enough height. As it turns out, I don't. I'm going to have to change these for the taller ones, which is a real pain because I've literally put all these up. So we need to do this wall and that wall. They need to be changed, which basically means there is 15 uprights that need to come off and 15 taller ones put on. So I need to order them, get them in, but the benefit of that will mean that I will have an extra shelf. I can gain an extra shelf on both walls, which is a lot. Now, working on the Exoterras, the 45 by 45, 30 by 30 by 45, sorry, Exos will go on the bottom shelves, and we can basically get, I think it was 14 enclosures on each shelf. That's 28 in all. 28 nice big arboreal enclosures. And so we're basically setting it out so that we can get our heights in. Now, these shelves aren't finished yet. We've got to paint them. We've got to router them out to take our cables, because we want to put, I want to have heated shelves and try and get away from a heated room if I can. So we're going to try that. We're also going to put a plinth on here, which will shield the lights. So when the tanks are inside, there'll be a plinth that runs down here. That will shield the lights, so we don't actually get the glare of any lights. All we will get is the enclosures lit up. We won't see the lights at all, which will be really important, so that when we turn off our room lights, all we will have is the enclosure lights, which will be really nice, because when we get round to start planting some of these out, most of these enclosures will be planted, and it will give a lovely feel and a really, really nice look to the whole room, and hopefully it will make them pop. That's what we want. We want to really make them pop, because the idea going forward with this room is to have our enclosures will actually all be mini exhibits. We don't want to just house our spiders, we want to showcase our spiders. We want our spiders to really pop out with really nice enclosures. So that's the plan. So we're going to work on that. We get the plinths in. The far wall over there, which is behind the camera at the moment, that is going to end up being where we will have our frogs, and I will probably end up keeping my Theraphosa up on that wall as well. And we will aim at having a bit of a self-watering wall. That's the plan, and we will see where we go. Now, for the time being, we are going to use the enclosures that we already have. We have so many Exoterra and Komodos. We have lots and lots and lots of them. We have a whole shed full out there, and also you would have seen well, I think it actually no, you will see it in the next video. You will see there's so many of them out, just stacked up in the garden, that all need to be cleaned and brought back in. So there's lots and lots to be done. So we're going to use them to begin with, get ourselves in and sorted out, and then we will start planning on getting some of our custom built tanks in place. Once we can agree some prices and bits and pieces, because they are very, very expensive. So we need to work on that as well. Now, what else have we got? Now, you would have seen when we put up the rest, Camera Lady always comes in and helps me, and I must, big shout out to Camera Lady. She does an awful lot, and she's always on hand to help out, never complains. She just gets on with it, helps me with everything. Anything I need to do, she is there for me. And as you saw, she came in and she helped me put the shelves up on the far side here. And we done the last little bit of racking. And the main reason we stopped there, because it started to rain and it was getting wet. We'd got all of our timber in, so it was time to sort of call it a day, have a bit of a rest. And also as well, I'd realised that I need the extra long brackets. So there's no point going too much further. So what we will do for the next video, we will swap out all the brackets. Probably won't bother filming that, but we will get them up, and then we can start mucking around with lighting, doing the plinths, and we can start chasing out our grooves for the cables and whatnot, and all that side of things. And then hopefully we won't be far off from starting to move spiders in and get ourselves sorted out. We need to finish our desk, get that done as well. Hopefully this little video has satisfied some of you that have been itching to see another update on how the room is going on. And the reason we've been a bit slow on the updates is purely because of work. You know, don't forget, I work full time for a living, and so trying to do that and do this, it's all been rather hectic, and it's really put some time constraints on everything. This last 18 months have been really, really hard work, and but we're getting near the end now. We're getting to a point now where we're actually starting to really feel it, and it's coming together, and we're starting to get a few more bits and pieces done. So I hope you enjoyed that, and if there's any questions, stick them down in the comments. We really, really do appreciate all you guys that are commenting and keeping up, keeping up with what we're doing. And hopefully we can build them viewing numbers back up again. Obviously we lost quite a lot of viewers because of the content was very limited. Hopefully this will see a turning point and we can build the channel back up to its former glory, and get them numbers back where we want. So all you guys that have stuck with us, if you want to share these videos to anywhere, please do. Share them wherever you like. You can post them up all over the place. I really don't care. In fact, I would appreciate it. So put them up everywhere. Don't forget, all you new guys, if you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Hit the like button. Let's get that algorithm back up and going. We are about, I think, we're about 8,000 maybe about 8,000 or so off of our 100,000. So we're so close to hitting that magic number. So all the help that we can get, really appreciate it. So share. Absolutely, share it everywhere. Right then, all that being said, don't forget, be calm, be gentle, and love your spider. And we will see you soon, guys.